Donnie and Dolly, the team is supported by ableauctions.ca. Closing your business? We can help.
Donnie and Dolly brought to you by Able Auctions. Our guests today, including Dave Poulin standing by, are sponsored by Basant Motors. Don't love your vehicle? Let Basant Motors help you get into one you do or you will love. With a large inventory and the highest trade in values, learn more at basantmotors.com. Did you write that copy? Right? We'll talk.
Coffee.
Copy.
Oh, I thought you said coffee.
You just got thrown because the two words love and car were in the same sentence again.
Yeah,
like
that's true.
The other read.
Okay. Strange addictions going through my head here. Not that we should laugh at that sort of thing. Dave Poulin joins us now from TSN. Dave, how are you?
Very well, gentlemen. The set looks great. It sounds great.
Thank you.
You're going flashy with the graphics and the music. This is really great to see. It looks terrific.
Yeah,
Thank you.
We've come a long way. Hey, coming off All-Star Weekend, Dave, what are your memories of playing in the All-Star Game and maybe even Rendezvous 87 back in the day?
Really strong and powerful at this time of year for me. I actually wrote an article about it on Sunday. I write one every Sunday in the Star, and I was thinking, I'm going to have a little flashback here on All-Stars, and it's so humbling when you get that call, guys, for the first time. I'm an undrafted free agent. It's my third full year in the league, and you get the call, and then when you get there, there's that fear factor, like, are guys even going to know who I am? Like, I saw Larry Robinson first. I'm like, introduce myself? This is a guy I watched in the 70s play in Montreal, and he's a great big guy and was in the stick room. And then I see Bossy and Trache kind of stroll in together, and we had beaten them the previous spring in the playoffs, and it was sort of the end of their run, right? They'd lost in the finals the year before to Edmonton, but it's the first time they'd been knocked out earlier, particularly by an upstart young team. And I'm thinking, do they want to chat? And then you look over and there's Ray Bourque over by the coffee machine. You're like, oh, that's Ray Bourque. So it's like I think it's like every fan would think it is.
Yeah.
And you assume it's different for the players, but there were 21 first-timers in the All-Star game this weekend. It's a big deal, guys. It's flat out a big deal. To walk in that locker room and you're looking for validation, you know, when you see your own name and number, and the numbers always went by seniority then, and I was the only number 20 who was making the All-Star game. So 3 times I got to wear my own number, which was really cool. But overall, just a great experience. And, and everybody's so good. You see little conversations going on. And, and I was watching on the weekend, and it's the little conversation you have while you're watching another event go on the ice, on one knee with, I don't know, Patrice Bergeron or, someone like that. You're just having that little conversation. Yeah. What a huge, huge confidence boost it was for me at that point in my career. So I hope it is for the same guys. I hope that carry that confidence back to the locker room.
Yeah. What's your opinion, Dave, of Trevor Zegras' stick magic?
I've been watching this kid for a while, guys. I do the U18s as well and some of the U17s off tube. So I've been watching and enjoying it for a while. He's a really good player. And it's not just the magical stuff. I just did it Anaheim last week or 10 days ago in Montreal. And maybe Ottawa as well. And I watched him away from the puck, and I watch how he backs NHL defensemen off out of their space. He is a tremendous, tremendous passer. And I played with a guy that I think is one of the best passers to ever play the game. And I would study him in practice, and I'd watch what he was doing. And it was Adam Oates. And Adam Oates, guys, he'd no-look his way through an entire drill. So cross-ice passes on a 2-on-1, you'll look the entire time. And you'd be like, are you kidding me right now? Like, you got to be kidding me. And this is what this kid reminds me of with his stick control and his pace and the way he can push you out of your comfort zone and out of your space. I just think he's a special player.
Mm-hmm. You mentioned Adam Oates. That was when you were with Boston. Of course, you spent most of your career with the Philadelphia Flyers, where you were captain. So let's focus on, if you want to, Dave, let's focus on the Philadelphia Flyers. Things have gone wrong for the Flyers this year. What is wrong?
A little bit of everything. You assume when you make significant changes that they're all going to work, and you're bringing different personalities and different game styles into the locker room. Now, they've had some key injuries, and Ryan Ellis, I think, was one of the most significant ones for what he would have meant both on the ice and in the locker room with the new group meshing in. And it seems like they maybe haven't had that trigger person on the mesh in. Significant players, Cam Atkinson, Ritsalainen from Buffalo, but it just hasn't meshed. I mean, it flat out hasn't. And people were asking me about Claude Giroux, who I love as a player. And I said, well, I do know they're willing to trade their captain because it has quite frankly happened to me before. So that's something they're not going to hesitate with. And, that'll be the indicator on exactly what direction they think they're going on. If this, I think the 8 teams in the top are locked in, guys. I don't see that changing. I just don't. And so no matter what kind of, and anybody is thinking it's going to change is maybe the Islanders because of their games in hand. So you say, well, they got 9 games in hand on some teams. And I turn around and say to you, yeah, they got to play 9 more games than anybody else does in this ridiculous short span of time. Yeah. So I think the East is locked in. And with that said, I wouldn't be surprised at all for significant moves in Philly. And, if Claude Giroux, he's got a full no move, so he's going to choose where he goes and what that means to he and his family. It wouldn't surprise me at all to see significant moves coming out of Philadelphia.
Dave, always good to get other people's opinions on the Canucks. When you look at this team, what do you see? There's some good young pieces, but it's been a lot of losing here in the last few years. Your thoughts on the Canucks and going forward?
I look at rosters all the time, and I look at rosters in relation to the exact age and what pieces fit together, but then you have to look correlating them to the contracts and how they all fit together. And a largely skilled forward group are all in their 20s, but they haven't played well. And, when I look at a list, I look at a player, and then I look at career years. And who's having a career year? Who's having a career year or at least an equal to career year or somewhere around? And one guy, like, is JT Miller the only guy who you'd say is, well, he's having a career year, like he's there? You can't have that, guys. You're expecting improvement with your roster. That's what you're looking at. When you've got guys in your 20s and you're looking at a Brock Besser and you see the points, early, you're looking at Elias Pettersson, you see 66 points his first couple years. You're not only not thinking regression, you're not thinking drastic regression. And it just can't happen. And it can't happen across the board. And, probably the biggest surprise to me has been the production of OEL. I still think he's a good player. Yeah. You got 9 points. 9. That can't happen. It just flat out can't, particularly with the number of years left and the dollar figures involved. And so it just, you got a nice bounce when Bruce came in, but it's leveled off now, under 500 for the last 12 games. Yeah. And the problem you have in the West, guys, I can't find anyone who factored in both LA and Anaheim into the playoff conversation.
Yeah, that's it.
And you might say one of them. You might say, well, I thought LA was coming, or I thought no one thought both were going to be factors. Yeah. No one.
Speaking of Trevor Zegras.
Not only are there factors, but they're playing well. I'll tell you what's going to happen when Mason McTavish plugs in there in the near future. Yeah. With Anaheim. And it'll probably be after his junior year. Hamilton out here in the East made a big trade for him in Major Junior. So they assume he's going back there after the Olympics. And they'll have him for the rest of the year. But the minute that year's done, he's going to Anaheim, guys. This kid is. And not only is he good, he's really different from the skill of Troy Terry or Trevor Zegras. So I think that's Vancouver's biggest problem. You'd say, well, we're going to be sitting above Winnipeg. Well, that's really good. Well, Winnipeg has some games in hand. But no one was factoring in those two California teams, and they are certainly throwing a wrench into anyone's Western plans right now.
That's it.
Mason McTavish already looked good early in the season when before he went to junior. Dave, he played a game at Rogers Arena. One more thing, I know this show has had its issues lately, but I like watching the Goldbergs. I think you know where I'm going with this, Dave. So the character Barry in the show, and they're big Philadelphia Flyers fans. I don't know if you ever watched it, Rick, has a Dave Poulin poster in his bedroom. What goes through your mind when you see that?
Well, I signed a waiver for that, and I'm going to say that was 9 or 10 years ago. Mm-hmm. And that's how long a run it's been. But Barry went to college, guys. He not only brought the poster with him, but he kind of like had it framed, and it's in a new place in the shot now. So I'm getting even more airtime now on that show. I have had a nice back and forth with the founder or the creator of the show, Adam.
Goldberg, yeah.
And so we've had a nice couple of back and forths over the years, and it's quite funny. But I'm getting to be big time on that show now. Yeah. I should be going back and saying, wait a second here, guys. We got to revisit my contract.
Yeah, no kidding. Absolutely. Dave, we'll get you back soon. Thanks so much for this.
Hey, great chatting with you guys. Thanks.